Sorry about all the political videos as of lately, but my main mission was always to stop this woke PC culture and for people to take responsibility and actions in their life and their mental health. Unfortunately, with the political climate we've had for the last 10 years, the PC culture and the woke victimhood culture has been driving, the whole Democratic Party. Play victim, everything is everyone's fault, be lazy, whine, complain, instead of taking accountability. And I'm curious, let me know what other topics you want to talk about down below. Subscribe if you're not already. But today what I want to talk about is the disaster which was the DNC that just passed. First of all, they market the DNC saying that like Beyonce and Taylor Swift were going to show up and be like special guests. It was just rumors. It was just allegedly, but like rumors were that Beyonce was supposed to show up. But they never showed up. Got my handy dandy notes like always, just to make sure I don't get off track, which I'm about to get off track. But like, who really cares about Beyonce? Does that really work for anyone? Like, I liked Beyonce in Destiny's Child, but when she went solo, I didn't really get the whole hype. And I don't understand why people say, why would you say that on Beyonce's internet? What does Beyonce's internet mean? I heard Beyonce isn't smarter than a fifth grader. Me and her aren't on the same internet. She's probably Googling how to get out of the Illuminati or how to get divorced. The DNC was all barricade off with walls and stuff because they had all these protesters, obviously. They had a bunch of Palestine protesters that were ripping down walls and it was all chaotic outside. And then the very first night, I think it was night one, they mentioned Trump 147 times. They talked about the economy 27 times, the border 8 times, crime 6 times, prices 5 times, and inflation 3 times. I heard one night, they mentioned Trump 160 times, which is so funny because when the RNC happened, they mentioned Joe Biden because Joe Biden was running back then, not Kamala, whatever her name is. I'm going to vote for who I know how to pronounce their name. Anywho's, during the RNC, they mentioned Joe Biden twice throughout the whole thing. If you saw my last video about Kamala, like it's like she has 0 votes, 0 interviews, 0 policies, and she still has no policies. They're running this whole campaign off of how much you hate Trump. Like people that are suffering from TDS, you don't need policies if you hate Trump. If the media and social media told you to hate Trump. The RNC was full of love and hope. I saw all of the RNC and all of the DNC, and they definitely were different vibes. It's supposed to be like a pep rally for your political party. Like, come on, guys, we got this, and a bunch of hope, faith, love. But that's not what the DNC was. It was just full of hate. Let's not forget that the DNC was giving away free vasectomies and abortions in little trucks outside. I've said this several times. I'm pro-choice, but I'm not teetering on the fence of pro-life and pro-choice because I don't think it's my body, my choice. It's definitely someone else's body. So with that, if someone has an abortion, that's traumatic. That's trauma. You're going to have to work through mentally eventually sometime in your life. If it's not today, it's not tomorrow, a month, a year, 10 years, you'll eventually have to deal with. I've never had one. I've had friends that have had one. I don't judge anyone that's ever had one, but it's something that you would, and it's not healthcare. It's healthcare if, it gets stuck in like a fallopian tube or like attached. That's medical, but it's something like, lucky you get to do if you live in a country that do that. Gaza, you guys always fight for Gaza. You can't have abortions in Gaza. You can't even be gay there yet. You guys are always, not you guys. You know what I mean? I just hear a lot of the arguments that pro-choicers have, and it's just kind of weird sometimes. But just thinking about going into like a little truck, like a little van to get to get an abortion done, it just sounds so like, okay, this sounds kind of dark. And I heard 25 abortions happened. I don't know like if that was in total. I don't know if that was in one day, but like it's so sad at first. Like, if you think about it, it's sad. But like, this happened in Chicago, like a parking lot somewhere. So, like, is this parking lot haunted now? Like, with little baby souls? I also wrote this down. Act Blue at the DNC had false donations, fraud, allegedly. I also, I'm going to try to make a vlog. I'm going to go see the movie Am I Racist? That comes out September 13th, made by the Daily Wire. And I didn't write it down, but Matt Walsh proceeded to go to the DNC to troll them. The best troll ever to promote his movie coming up. The Obamas made speeches, and I've always had a soft spot for Michelle Obama. I don't know why. You should not like the Obamas, but for some reason I always gave her the benefit of the doubt until now. Michelle's speech was so tired, the same old like just trying to pretend and posing as black people are so poor and they have such a bad upbringing and they have no wealth in life, and white people have wealth since the day they were born, and poor us, and Kamala's so poor. It's like she lived in Canada. She's part Indian. Oprah took the stage kind of saying the same thing, how like white people are so rich, and it's like, you guys are the richest black people ever. The Michelle Obama, Oprah, are we being serious right now? Go burn down Hawaii. I'm half white and half Mexican, and I've been poor my whole life. Not even part of me have been kind of rich. And then Oprah tried to make a dig at JD, you know what he said about like single, childless cat lady. And Oprah said something like, if there was a house on fire with a childless cat lady, that they would save the member of their community. But then the camera pans over to the morbidly obese lady, and the poor lady looks around like, why are they showing me? Like she's the cat lady.
If the place happens to belong to a childless cat lady, well, we try to get that cat out too.
Whether you are Asian or Hispanic, whether you are straight or whether you are gay, I will work for all of you.
Which the lady looks like she probably has like a tiny little toy dog. I'm a childless cat lady. I'm not morbidly obese. Trump ending up having the last laugh with Oprah. He like posted a note that she wrote him a long time ago when they were BFFs saying, oh, I wish we were running together. Good luck. Love you. Something like that. It reminds me that clip from The View when Whoopi Goldberg is going on and on about Trump, how much she loves him.
I love you. I'm telling you.
I wanted to bring up this part because it's very important. Tampon Tim, the Kamala's VP, he has a son who is mentally handicapped, who he brought onto stage. And the child was walking a little slow because he's on a stage full of cameras, lights, tons of people, and he's walking a little slower. Well, his father's so eager to be up there, and he's like running, that he yanks on the poor man's arm like aggressively. And if he could do that in front of thousands of hundreds, millions, it's on TV. Just imagine how he acts behind closed doors with his son. Hopefully he doesn't have full custody of his son. Hopefully like he's divorced and hopefully she has custody. I would hate to think that this child is with him. And now it's time for Kamala to take the stage and have her word salad vomit. The crowd was going wild and she was trying to get them to calm down, and she's all, guys, calm down, stop. It's time to get down to business. It's time to get down to business. And she's screaming this, and everyone's screaming, going crazy. And she's all, it's time to get down to business. Time to get down to business. I want to wish my husband a happy anniversary. Allegedly, there's rumors going around that Kamala is this like drunk brat. And I don't want to put that out there if she's not. I had my own struggles with alcohol that was challenging. At her age, I think she's like 15 years older than me. But like, I don't know anyone my age, like, well, especially women that still drink. Like, just when you get older, your body can't handle it anymore, and you care more about your health and your hormones. I mean, like, guys my age, some of them still drink if they like golf or still watch sports and stuff. But just as a woman, like in your 60s, you're still drinking. But I guess like the job she has, when you're just like schmoozing and rubbing elbows and bullshit, and I guess all you're doing is whining and dining and drinking. But if it is true, all the like old footage we have of weird stuff she was saying and all her weird laughing and how she like sways and steps, it all makes sense now.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, you know, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, oh, it's so strong.
It would also make sense if she's trying to help with her nerves. Like with a lot of the speeches and stuff she's just said in this short amount of time, she gets a lot of stuff wrong. Like she has no policies, but you know how she was trying to copy all of Trump's policies? Like he said no tax on tips, and then she went up and said, copied him and said the same thing, but she said no tax on tips and hospitality workers. She didn't even say hospitality. Even when she tried to make that horrible policy about price gouging, she said price gauging.
I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
Kamala claims that it's never been done before, but I think it was done in the 70s. I don't know if it was the president before Nixon or it was Nixon. They did a price freeze for 90 days and it ruined everything. That always leads to shortages and people rationing stuff. And you thought COVID was bad. Not just food. You would be in line for hours in the gas station just waiting for gas because the man is always going to make his money. That's why it never works when you try to do minimum wage going up or taxing the rich, because they're going to find a way to make their money. And if they're not going to make their money, guess what? They're not going to make that product anymore. So if they can't raise prices for their product, then they're not going to make the product. Back to Kamala being a drunk. Did you guys, well, it's not back to her being a drunk, but did you guys see Trump on Theo Von's podcast? It was so cute when they were talking about addiction because Trump has never drank or done drugs before. And Theo, he's a Pisces like me. We have a lot of addiction issues. And he has, he's been having challenges with sobriety and stuff. And just seeing them talk about it was so cute. And they have last time I checked, it was 10 million. Theo Von got to 3 million subscribers and they're at 10 million views. It's such a good interview if you haven't seen it yet. Which Kamala still hasn't done an interview. It's been 35 days probably now that she hasn't done an interview.
Cane will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You'll be out on your own porch, and you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking.
And is that a good feeling? Well,
no,
it's
horrible.
A miserable feeling.
But you do it anyway, just like the guy you're saying with the scotch.
I've been watching a lot of those videos where they ask people on the streets who they're voting for, Kamala or Trump, because I want to understand why people are voting for Kamala. And it's always either they hate Trump or they say, because, she's a woman and she's black and we need our first woman president. And I just don't understand it because there are some foreign countries where they don't respect women. They're not going to talk to women about business, especially. Some countries, you can't even show your face as a woman. You can't go to school. You can't walk around without a man like your father, your brother, or husband by your side. And these countries, there's also this one country that one day out of the year, it's like a holiday where all the men get drunk and they can rape any woman out, even if they're with their husband, their dad. If anyone's protecting them, they'll still beat the men up and rape all these women. I just want to add that sometimes Americans and people from other countries travel to this said country not knowing it's the holiday. And you can guess what happens. Check it out on YouTube. There's videos on YouTube. And it is weird how in Western civilization or just America, they look up to these countries and they look up to their beliefs and their religions, but then they shit on Christianity, which I believe in God and Jesus, but I'm not super religious, but I'm almost there. I'm about to do Bible study. I'm learning about Bible mapping. I want to learn everything. I swear the left is going to push me into a Christian. Next thing you know, we're going to have Bible studies on this channel. No, but I'm being serious. When Americans praise other countries and other beliefs and then they crucify Christianity, this is what is going to be the end of the Western civilization. Look what's happening in the UK. Also, I want to do a video about the UK, so that's coming soon, hopefully. Jacob, do you want to say hi to everybody? It's the morning time. We call it disco time because we have the disco ball going on with all the disco lights. I wanted to add stuff. I refuse to set up all my lights. Okay, so we're trying a new spot. I wanted to add that I think it's weird when you ask people the same question. Who are you going to vote for, Kamala or Trump? And they say Kamala, and you ask why, and they're like, because she's more experienced. There's so much you can say about that, but just on surface level, let's say you own a bunch of stores and you need to hire a manager for said store. And you get 2 applications, and one has already been a manager before, and you call their references and they were a great manager. And then the other applicant was an assistant manager, and you call her references, and she was kind of a pretty shitty assistant manager. One's already been a manager, which means they have more experience. It's not rocket science. Trump was president before. How much qualifications do you need? 4 years ago, he was president. A lot of reasonings, like I said, I hear is we need a black woman president. And in my head, I just hear racist and sexist. Anytime Kamala does one of her speeches, she talks about how bad things are now and how, inflation is so bad and just living everyday life is so bad. And it's like, bitch, you're in office now. You're in office now. Then allegedly, Kamala has been having a lot of speeches where she's doing a lot of misinformation, but like paying Google ads to put like the misinformation online. So when she says Google it, like it'll show up as fact. And now there's like allegedly this radio station trying to sue her for putting lies on the internet. But yeah, I think that's all I got. I'm not really a doomsday person just because I'm poor. If I had more money, I would probably be a doomsday person. But like how Kamala's talking with the price gouging and all that, I was stuck up on canned food, beans, rice. And I just want to add on here that RFK, everyone knows that RFK dropped out and endorsed Trump. So that was the smartest thing he can do for the country and his career, because the Democrats want nothing to do with him. That's why he switched over, because he's another person that can't be controlled. Free thinkers with common sense. And did you see when RFK was giving his speech about giving the truth about what's really happening in the Ukraine war and what really the Democrats are up to, that all the news, wouldn't let them talk. They just started talking over him and muted him. And it's like, are you serious? This is happening in front of your face. So yeah, I think that's all I have for now. If you like this one, give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe, and then we can chit chat later, and I'll see you in the next one. Boy, 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 boy.
Ladies and gentlemen.